Welcome to the Gill Athletics Connections Podcast, where we bring you track coaches from around the country and connect them to you. I'm your host, Mike Cunningham, National Sales Manager for Gill Athletics. It is my honor to bring you the stories of these men and women and learn with you what makes them tick. This week, I've got a doozy for you. Zeb Hoffman of Evergreen State University. Couldn't be more proud and happy to talk with Zeb. What an interesting guy at an interesting university. I think you'll really enjoy his story. Unfortunately, your host, I made a mistake. We got into it and really started chopping it up around the hour mark, and that's when we stopped recording. So that's the bad news. 1 hour, and it cuts off. The good news is that means I get a chance to record and sit down with Zeb again in the future one day, and I'm super excited to look forward to that. So please help me welcome the strong, the powerful Zeb Hoffman. Awesome. Hey, Zeb. So we were just talking, and for people who don't know you, I'm sitting in front of you look like you could go throw the NAI National Championship hammer right now, buddy. But you were just talking about you are putting on a half marathon in 10K. How does a throws guy do this? What are you doing?
Yeah, I kind of got thrown into that. That's part of my job description is some sort of fundraiser. The Gouda Gallop, as it's called, 10K half marathon, is something that we've done historically. It's happened, I think, since the late 80s.
Oh, wow.
Off and on. Mm-hmm. And it's always been, initially it was as an opportunity for our athletes to qualify for nationals with a half marathon time.
You have you have a marathon for
NAI nationals, yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
And then it kind of morphed into a fundraiser.
Right.
And so last year was my first year doing it, kind of thrown to the wolves a little bit and said, hey, figure this out. And I didn't do too bad. I could have done better.
Yeah, no one went off course. No one ran a marathon.
A couple people did go off course. That's a correction I've made this year.
There you go.
One of the 10K guys overshot his mark a little bit.
He didn't know he was registered for the half marathon.
Yeah, just keep going, man. We'll change it for you. But we made some corrections. The folks that ran off course, I just said, hey, come back next year. We'll waive your fee.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
And it's kind of a customer service thing.
Absolutely.
I had the opportunity to hire an assistant coach this year.
Yeah.
Made it a point to hire a distance guy.
Smart. Okay.
Because I felt like last year, as first full year as head coach,
right.
As
the only coach,
right. I was making my distance runners hate running.
Sure.
And that's a bad quality for a distance runner. Like, they kind of need to love that.
Yeah.
So I brought in my assistant coach Curtis, and he's given me a lot of feedback on the race as what's important to him
from a distance perspective. Yeah.
Like, this is what I want. This is what I would like to see out of a half marathon.
Right.
So this year, we didn't make shirts as big a priority as we did medals. We tried to get really nice medals this year.
Yeah, and you designed those medals.
I designed those medals.
That's part of your job description.
I don't think designing medals was in there, but it says other duties as assigned right at the bottom, and I think that's where I went with it.
They always get us.
Yeah,
they had that, and we're suckers. We say okay.
Okay. What does that mean? It's like you're going to do some design work.
So how involved were you on this race? What I mean by that is, like, were you out marking the course? Are you out marking the course or designing the course?
So it's a USATF certified course.
Okay.
And so the course is already set. The mile markers are already there.
Okay.
So all I really need to do, I probably drove the thing 10 times last year.
Right.
Just to really find out where everything was.
Lay of the land.
Lay of the land, where are the pitfalls, where do we need to put the arrows on the road, where do we need to do all this stuff. Right. I haven't touched the thing this year. I know Curtis has gone and ran it a couple times already this year.
Well, he's a distance guy.
He's a distance guy.
He's all in on that
he
stuff,
does that for breakfast.
Right.
But for the most part, this year it's been a little more hands off because I know everything's there.
Right. All the management of the meet, call it a meet.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't have to design the course.
I didn't have to design the course.
I don't know how people do that, man. That's amazing. Cool.
Yeah, and I think our certification runs until 2022.
Okay.
Our USATF certification on the course, and so then we'll have to have somebody come out. And
Interesting.
It's a bridge I'll have to jump over when we get there.
Yeah, I didn't know they do it for a certain block of time.
Yeah, it's certified for a certain block of time, and then and you can just re-up, and I'm sure there's a fee associated with it. But you have to have somebody come out, and that's the way it goes.
That's cool. Well, let's talk about. I'm not here to talk with a throws coach about a half marathon.
Yeah.
So Zeb, tell us, and this is our second time meeting each other. I met you about a year and a half ago, and was just fascinated with your story, which I am with a lot of track coaches and how they got to where they are today. Maybe give us kind of your, I was a comic book kid, so, the origin story of Spider-Man I loved and Batman. What's your origin story? How did you get into coaching, and how did you get here to Evergreen?
Well, I'll talk about how I got into track and field first, because that kind of starts there. I was a basketball guy. Oh. My dad was 6'9". My mom was 5'10", 5'11".
Your dad was 6'9".
Yeah. Still a massive dude. And so it was this idea that I'm probably going to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah.
All my siblings are tall. My brother's 6'4". My sister's 6'1". Wow. If she stands up straight, she kind of has tall girl posture a little bit, but she. So I was a basketball kid.
Yeah.
And
Around here?
Around here, yeah. I grew up in the Olympia area.
Okay.
I wanted to play basketball.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do, and so I started lifting weights to improve sports, to improve athletic development for basketball. The problem is that unlike a lot of basketball players who have a horrible time putting on weight, I put on weight like a champion.
Right, yeah.
And so, I could dunk a basketball when I was a freshman in high school, but all that muscle had an oxygen cost.
So you were a big boy.
I was big. I was a big guy.
You were boxing people out. You just couldn't get.
Yeah, I was a great rebounder. Just give me a second. Like let me get down the floor. Like do we need to run all the time? Like can we walk?
Right.
So sophomore year of high school, I'm on the JV team, which apparently was a big deal to be a sophomore and be on JV here. Yeah. The local school here in town, and my dad, after one game, I didn't play a whole lot, and he's like, you go in there and you quit. And I was brand new at this school, and I was like, man, I don't want to do that. I don't want to quit.
Yeah.
Like I'm already new at this school. I don't want to be the quitter.
Right, that guy.
It's like that high school politics.
Oh yeah.
And but he's like, do it or find a new place to live. And so I went in there in the locker room.
Was your dad a tough guy?
He was kind of a you're with me or you're against me.
Yeah,
it's my way or the highway type of dude.
Sure.
And so that definitely informs how I am as a parent too, and even as a coach. I'm a lot more go with the flow.
Yeah.
You get you learn one way or the other. You either go, I want to do exactly like this person did, or I'm going to do the exact opposite.
Right. You learn.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I quit, and so then I was like, what am I going to do now?
Right.
And there was this girl in my weight training class, beautiful. I had a crush on her, and she said, you should turn out for track. You should throw the shot put.
It's still sophomore year?
It's sophomore year.
Okay.
She was a senior, I was a sophomore.
Oh, okay.
And I said, do you throw the shot put? She's like, yeah. I'm like,
then I
I'm
do
in.
too.
I'm in. And
they get us in a lot of trouble sometimes.
They do. Well, she still does. She's my wife now.
Right.
And she gets me in all kinds of trouble.
That's right.
I remind her on a regular basis when she's like, you spend so much time at work, you spend so much time at track. I'm like, this is your fault. And that never goes over well. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody.
Yeah, there's good advice right there.
Yeah, just don't remind your wife that it's her fault. And so I was an okay shot put and discus thrower in high school.
Right.
I think I threw 49, 11 and a half in the shot.
Yeah, that's not. Nothing to
hang my hat on that.
Yeah.
But no one was at my house when I got home from practice either.
Sure.
And part of me, that was my ignorance as a student athlete, because I thought that's how recruiting worked.
That they just showed up.
You
didn't reach out at all.
Yeah, you did. There was no outreach thing like they're going to come to you and they're going to. And so.
In what year? What's your senior year of high school?
1998 was my senior
98.
year.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So still before the internet, really. And
it was. There wasn't a lot of options there. There weren't all these recruiting sites like there are now.
Yeah.
And so I came here to Evergreen thinking my track career was done.
All right.
And I'd spent 2 years here at Evergreen. It was horribly.
As a student?
Just a student.
Yeah.
Just really wasn't a great student. I was going to college because I thought I had to.
Right.
And so I swore off college. I dropped out,
Okay.
moved to Seattle, and kind of swore off higher education.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I thought that a couple times thought I'd beat the system.
Yeah.
You know, I was working at University of Washington in a research lab, and
Really?
I was an animal tech in a primate research lab, which is a glorified janitor.
Okay.
But at one point, I was in the running to be a research scientist.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm going to be a research scientist doing neuroscience research without a college degree. Like,
Right.
I've beaten the system.
Yeah.
And they said, no, actually, you're really good at cleaning up after monkeys. We need you to continue to do that. So I missed the boat, but I almost had it.
Yeah.
Started working at nightclubs, music venues,
All right.
working as a a door guy or security.
You're just finding jobs at this point, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and that was on a goof. Like I was still working at the primate center during the
Okay.
day, and it was this idea of like, hey, if I work at night too, it'll keep me out of trouble.
Okay.
I'll be able to save money. And it turns out that I just had way too much fun working at night
Right.
that I just quit my day job and just worked
I
security.
say it was a good thought, but then your night job was security at clubs and
Yeah.
venues, and
and
trouble happens.
That whole lifestyle is great for a little while.
Yeah.
I reconnected with that girl from the weight room while I was
Yeah.
doing that job, and we started dating, started a family, and then I didn't want to be the dad that just hung out and drank beer and yelled at
Okay.
TV.
Right.
And so I was looking for something to do. I started working out with kettlebells.
Okay.
Read Dan John's book, Never Let Go,
Yep.
and realized that there was this master's track and field thing.
Right.
And so
You're just lifting to lift at this point.
yeah,
and
I'm
you
just
read
I'm
this
just
and
I'm just lifting to like be around.
yeah.
Be around for this guy.
Right.
Be around for my son. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
and then I find this venue of okay, I could do master's track and field. This is awesome. I'll throw the shot again.
Right.
You know, I thought I was definitely stronger than I was in high school.
Right.
And by this time, I'm in my late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. Because what age does master start? 30 or 35?
Technically starts at 35.
35, okay.
But some master starts at 30.
Okay.
So most masters meets will let 30-year-olds.
All right. There's like an intro level to get more people in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was looking for places to throw the shot put.
Okay.
Found West Seattle Stadium.
Okay, yeah.
And at the time, at least, it was a public hammer cage. You
Huh.
could go out there and you could throw the hammer, and no
Right.
one would give you a hard time. And Seattle Masters Athletic Club, built it, set it up. And so I would go out there and I would throw on weekends, throw when I could. I was a stay-at-home dad during the day, security guy at night, so
Right.
it worked out pretty perfect. There were times where I would give my son a bottle, walk him around the track, and then the goal was to get as many throws in as I could before he woke up.
That's interesting.
That was my training.
Yeah.
Then I'd go home and we'd play and whatever, put him down for a
Be a
nap,
dad.
and I'd do my kettlebell workout, and then
Right.
wife would come home, we'd high five, and I'd go to work.
Yeah, tag team in.
And I kept kind of progressing as a hammer thrower.
Now, why'd you pick hammer? Because you didn't do. There's no hammer in high school for you.
I threw hammer once at University of Oregon in 1996.
Okay.
Right before the Atlanta Olympics.
Oh, okay.
At a track camp.
All right.
So I
Yeah,
got-
track camp. So it's like, hey, this is something new. Let's introduce you to it.
They would do they always have events in the evening to try to keep the kids busy.
Right. Yes.
Idle hands and all that.
Yep.
And so everybody got to try all the different events. And so
Right.
they let us try hammer.
Very cool.
And I took to it right away. I'm like,
That's
this
great.
is awesome.
Great event.
And then the next day, Stuart Toger, who he just passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's a name. Holy
yeah,
cow.
but he was the throws coach there at the time, so I was getting to work with him every day.
Wow.
And he put it, gave us, here's the glove, and we also got to take a turn in the ring. I got to see Lance Steele throw again,
Yeah,
like
legend.
a month before Atlanta.
Right.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
And I went home and I told my coaches in high school, I'm like, I want to do this.
Right.
And they said, well, too bad.
Right. And there's a vibrant hammer scene now in Washington.
Yeah.
Not back in 96, 98.
No,
Right.
I missed high school hammer by about a year.
Is that right?
So Dwight Middles, who is
Middles, MIDL.
Yeah. He's now the throws coach at St. Martin's University, which is just down the road.
Right.
His son Adam was in 1998 was finishing up 8th grade. And we would have gone to the same high school.
Right.
And so I think the high school hammer stuff really started with the Middles family.
Right. I remember him. He went to Washington.
Adam went to USC.
USC.
And then his other son, I believe, went to UW.
Yeah. That's a hammer name in the state of
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah. And
wow.
And then there's guys in the Seattle Masters Athletic Club like George Matthews, Lance Niebauer. They're continuing that up north. Howie Kellogg. If it weren't for those guys being from the Seattle area at the time, I wouldn't be here right now.
Right.
Because George was the first one to say, like, hey, you're into this.
Yeah.
Here's a key to the shed.
Huh.
And so it's a seed container out there that I had access to anything you'd ever want to throw.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Right.
And I couldn't afford to buy a 10-kilo hammer or He's like, yeah, there's wires in there and there's handles in there. Go nuts. Go nuts. Make sure you lock it up every time. That was the only thing. Make sure you lock it up.
That's perfect for a thrower, a hammer thrower specifically, kind of gym rat-ish, just go make your own hammer, whatever you need, just lock it up when you're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go do it. And while I was out there, I met Martin Bingesser.
Yeah.
Who runs the Hammer Media website.
Yeah, does a great job. Also has a great podcast. Everybody, even if you're not into throwing, should check that out.
Yeah, it's gone well beyond throws.
Yeah,
which
is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So they have through the Game Network have contacts with tons of different coaches from all across the world.
Yeah,
and just tons of content.
Well, I know Martin has done a great job as an advocate for throwing and the hammer specifically, and just done an amazing job. What a great advocate that event has in him, for sure.
Yeah, my first day going out to West Seattle, my in-laws asked me what I wanted for Christmas or my birthday one year, and I said I want a hammer.
A hammer.
And so I bought a hammer, and it's my first day going out to throw it. And I know there's a lot of hammer throwers out here. And it turns out Martin was putting on a clinic.
Okay.
With Mike May, who was a very, very good U.S. hammer thrower who was in the military.
Oh,
he was stationed at Fort
MAI, I think, or something.
MAI, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Stationed at Fort Lewis.
Yeah.
Now Joint Base Lewis McChord.
Okay.
And he would throw all around the area.
Okay.
And so he and Martin kind of collaborated and did this little hammer clinic. And so Martin just said, hey, sign the waiver and you can
jump in.
Do it. Jump in. I think I still owe him $20.
He's going to hear this and remember.
Yeah. And so we kind of kept in touch, and we'd run into each other from time to time. Right. He was training up in Kamloops, Canada with Anatoly Bondarchuk.
Oh, yeah.
And so, would always pick his brain, and I'd read his blog and stuff like that.
Right.
Back when Hammer Media was just a blog.
Yeah, he was an early adopter, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And still kind of continued to progress as a thrower. And my wife said, you should really think about going back to school.
And you're at 30.
I'm in my 30s now. I'm 33, 34.
Okay. All right. And so wait, she says you should go back to college.
You should think about going back to school.
But now, most of us are familiar with the NCAA system, where it's like, man, you're 33, you already started your clock, so it's not you didn't go military, you're out. What do you mean go back? But here in the NAIA, we don't have that, right?
Correct. But I didn't even know that. So I'm training at West Seattle Stadium, and UW's facility wasn't finished just yet. And so they were having to come out and use West Seattle.
Yeah. And what year is this ish?
Oh, this would have been 2012 maybe.
Okay. All right.
Around there.
Yeah. Okay. So UW's out there.
UW's out there.
And coach back then was probably TJ?
TJ, yeah. And TJ's a local guy.
Yeah.
And so he and I were talking, and he said, well, you should look at NAIA because you're too old for Division I.
Right.
So you should look at an NAIA school.
Right.
So I just went home and Googled NAIA, and well, there we go. Evergreen's an NAIA.
You didn't even know Evergreen was NAIA.
No.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And so I contacted the coach here at the time. His name was Chris Ertman, and I said, hey, do you want, a 34, 35-year-old hammer thrower? and this is how far I can throw.
Which was
Back then, I think I was almost to 60 meters
okay.
in the hammer. It was around 18 or so in the weight.
Yeah, it's not bad for a late adopter.
Yeah,
kind of on your own. You're getting help.
I was knocking on the door of 60. I think.
Wow.
And he was like, yeah, we'd love to have you. And it was just timing wise, it didn't work out. And so we still continued to kick the idea around. And we finally made the move down here in 2015.
Okay.
For me to go back to school at Evergreen.
Right.
Finish up my degree.
So that's a big decision this is a big decision for anybody. Wife and kid.
Yeah.
Move, college payments, etc., tuition.
It worked out it really worked out around my wife's job.
Okay.
She was ready for a career change. We have family here in Olympia.
Oh yeah, it's always good. Yeah.
So it just worked out that way.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It just made sense.
In this story up to this point, a lot of I think the two words that keep coming to my mind are serendipity and fortuitous.
Yeah.
You know, that you'd actually went to school here first. Funny that you didn't even know that it was an AIA and the different rules and stuff like that. You're training at West Seattle. UW doesn't have a facility at that time, so they're there.
Yeah.
That's how you connect with TJ. Just interesting how all that kind of works in its path there. That's
I think another thing too is it's just people that are willing to help. You know, people that are willing to give you just 15 seconds, like, hey, I think this is what you should do.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that is important. But you know that the combination that has to come with that is people have to be willing to be helped. And in today's world, we have a lot of people where the ego is so big, and I don't need your help. I can do it on my own, and that's a lot. You know, the gumption to bootstrap it and do it on your own. That's a big positive.
And I was there.
Yeah.
I was that for a long time with the hammer. Because, again, my wife, being the voice of reason in all things, she was like, you should think about getting a coach. I'm like, I've got this. You know, I got myself to 60 meters. Like, I can coach myself.
Right.
And I had a horrible meet at UW one year.
You're at Evergreen now.
No, I was still unattached. I hadn't made the move.
Okay. So you had a bad meet. Yeah.
Bombed out of the meet. Fouled out of the meet. Right. Threw against Kibwe Johnson.
Oh, great guy.
One of the
him and his wife.
Best hammer throwers in the country.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't believe I just fouled out. This sucks.
Yeah.
And I contacted Martin and said, hey, could you help me out? Just help me out with some technique stuff.
So you kind of needed that to be open to, okay, I need some help here.
Yeah, I needed to fall. I literally fell down in that meet.
But I
figuratively needed to fall down too.
Yeah,
and
that humility and humbleness had to come through that way.
Yeah, and I reached out and I said, hey, can you help me out with technical stuff? And so he helped me out through the rest of the year, that season, mostly Masters meets. And then I took a small break and I sent him an email, said, hey, this is what I'm thinking about for my fall training. He said, you know what, how about I just write your training for you? And that's how working with Martin started. And I was working with him before I came to Evergreen.
Yeah.
And then Martin worked with me all through Evergreen, all through my time at Evergreen.
So you finally, the timing works out and you're on the team now here. The Gooey Ducks, which we're going to get into.
The Evergreen Gooey Ducks.
Of what that is. We'll get into that. So you're a student here. So are you classified as a junior?
I think I came in with a sophomore standing,
for athletics.
Yeah, for athletics.
Yeah. Like how many years did you have eligible?
I had 2 years of eligibility.
Okay, so junior.
So because I competed so much unattached.
Right.
The NAIA did charge me 2 seasons.
Interesting. Okay.
So I learned a little bit about that too.
Yeah.
What was cool though is I had 4 years of indoor. Because I had never thrown indoor.
Really?
Any chargeable indoor meets anyway.
That's interesting.
When I was unattached, because I just never got around to it.
So 2 outdoor, 4 indoor. Did you compete all 4 indoor?
No, I only got to do 1.
Yeah, okay.
I got to do 1
I
for
remember
college.
Injury, I think. And
no, the college canceled our indoor season.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
I remember there was something.
We definitely go down that road.
So how was your first? So was your first season indoor?
Yes.
How was that first season?
It was pretty touch and go.
You're 35.
So yeah, I'm 35 at this point.
You're competing against a bunch of 18 to 20.
I guess I'd be 36. I was 36 at this point.
You're competing with people half your age, 18, right?
Well,
were there any weird looks? What was it like? What's Grandpa here doing?
No. Well, so the indoor season was super weird as it was anyway, because it took me forever to get eligible.
Just through all the
through
certification,
yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
And so I got eligible for indoor season with 2 meets left to go.
Oh, 2 meets and nationals, or
2 meets and nationals. Yeah,
wow.
So I had 2 meets to qualify for nationals.
Okay.
And I did have an injury going into the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I had a wire break on me, and everybody who throws hammer knows a wires break. And fall down, go boom.
Yeah, big boom.
And, it was a big boom.
Yeah.
So that first meet did not go well.
Right.
And I hadn't really been throwing the weight that much because we weren't sure if I was going to even get to
right.
throw
You were a
weight.
hammer thrower, not a weight. And those are 2 different events.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and was there any nervousness? Now you're back to being a student and a student athlete with these other kids. Or
that first quarter of training and being in class, being in a program here at Evergreen, and I can say our programs here are very rigorous.
Yeah, right.
That was a hard learning experience for
sure.
me, and my results were all over the place.
And still trying to be a husband and a dad. By the way.
Yeah. It was wearing a couple different hats.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hindsight's 2020. I don't know how well I did the last 2. I probably could have done things a bit better. I was probably being a bit more selfish than I needed to be. But I kind of had this idea that this is what I have to do. This is my shot to do it.
Okay.
But I qualified for nationals at the last chance meet, and I think I was bumped up into second place rankings for NAIA nationals.
So you bombed the first one.
Bombed the first one horribly.
The second one you qualify, and you're ranked second going into the nationals.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And so
where'd you go? East Tennessee State, probably.
East Tennessee State. Yeah. Really cool facility.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like it.
Totally made the mistake of reading the press release.
Of you being second.
Oh no, there was nothing about me in there
because
I think it was just so late. They're like, whatever. Here's Concordia, Nebraska in NAIA is an absolute powerhouse.
Okay, all right.
They are, and probably will continue to be for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
And it was really about how they're going to sweep this thing.
Right.
And I kind of really started second guessing myself, and I keep a training journal, but that's all I keep. I kind of always go back and forth with our basketball coach here because he's a big sports psych guy and about writing down your goals and all that. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of a bit of the opposite. Like if you need to write it down, it's not really a goal.
Okay. Sure.
I kind of it's me being contrarian, I think.
Yeah.
And so, but I went through and I looked at all my throws that I had taken that year. And I had taken probably close to 2,000 throws already. And I was like, I'm supposed to be here.
Right.
Like, this wasn't an accident.
There's some validation in that.
Yeah, and so turned up. I threw at the time a lifetime best. Still got second.
Okay.
But it was a good fight. I broke my PR, I think, 3 times during the meet.
Wow. Yeah, if you could do that.
So no problem getting second, and the guy that got first was a heck of a weight thrower, a heck of a hammer thrower.
Yeah.
It's always good to see a hammer thrower excel on the weight throw.
Sure.
Because you can be a farm boy.
Yeah.
And just rip it, and but then get to the hammer and
you gotta have some technique and finesse.
Be a 45-meter all-star. So
right. So now indoors over.
Indoors over.
Now you get to your event, the hammer. Now you're outdoors.
Get out to the hammer. I only threw in a handful of meets. I was never big on competing a lot during the season because training was so important.
Right.
Just in the system that we had. And so I threw in 1 meet and qualified for both conference and nationals.
Right.
We had a bit of a coaching change. Our head coach left mid-outdoor season. So Chris Ertman, who I had talked to previously, stepped back in as head coach. Went to conference championships. I did well there.
Right.
Won conference championships. I set a lifetime best there of 64.
Oh, wow.
0.84 meters.
Wow.
Currently is the conference championship record.
Okay.
That's going to probably fall this year.
By one of your athletes?
No, unfortunately, no.
Right.
There's University of British Columbia has joined our conference.
Oh, okay.
And they have some fantastic hammer throwers.
Plural. They have
they have a couple. I don't know if one of them graduated last year, But
they've got some good boys.
They've got some really good
All right.
throwers, and their throws coach is phenomenal.
Okay.
And that record's going
records
down.
were meant to be broken.
That's why they're there.
okay.
That's
right.
why they're there.
So how'd you do at Nationals that year?
Nationals that year, I won Nationals.
Okay.
In
so you're
2016.
36.
I was 36, yeah.
College national champion in the hammer.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I wonder if there is a what's the record for oldest college champion at national? It'd have to be an NAIA.
It has to be an NAIA.
Unless there was some old rule. I don't know what the NCAA rules were back in the 20s and 30s and stuff like that, because when the war was going on, they canceled a lot of events. I think a lot of people came back in and maybe went back into the college system, but I'm not sure. I'm curious what that would be.
Yeah, I'd be curious too.
Yeah.
That would be
That's interesting.
Yeah.
We have to look that one up, man.
we
we have to do some research on that one.
there you go.
So you finished up your second year. How'd you do? Because I want to get to the coaching side of it. Next year of indoor.
Next year
That's the one
they canceled indoors, so I threw unattached.
Right, and then outdoors.
And so I competed unattached for indoor season.
Okay.
Qualified for USA Nationals.
Okay.
Didn't do as well as I wanted to at the meet, but for me, part of it was just qualifying.
Yeah.
Like, I had to throw a lifetime best to qualify.
Yeah.
And I'd never really put that kind of pressure on myself to chase a mark.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not something I'm a big fan
I
of.
was going to say, that doesn't seem like you. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
having done that, like I can say I did, and I accomplished my goal.
Right.
When I talk to athletes now, whether they're recruits,
Right.
it's a common question that recruits ask, like, what do I need to
What's the
what do I
mark?
need to do
Right.
to for college? And I'd say, just keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it doesn't fit in your.
the PRs are going to come.
Yeah.
You want to make this enjoyable, especially your senior year of high school.
Right. Yeah.
You're only going to do that once.
Right.
So chasing a mark, if you get it, great.
Yeah.
If you don't get it, like that's gonna.
Is the season really a fail just because you don't get that? There's so many other aspects. Yeah. That seems more of your style. Yeah.
And so when I was coaching hammer when I was already here.
Yeah.
So the guy that was the head coach at the time, he comes up to me one day and says, "Hey, I found you a training partner."
Okay.
So okay, well, who are they?
Because you were the only thrower.
I was the only thrower.
Right. That's right. We forgot to.
I found you a training partner.
Yeah.
And I said, well, does she know? So she's thrown before.
Right.
He's like, no, you're going to teach her.
From scratch.
Yeah. And so it's like,
okay.
cool. So we'll add another hat on there to
Yeah.
student athlete, husband,
Yeah.
father.
Student athlete coach.
Student athlete coach.
Yeah.
And so I taught this goalie from the women's soccer team how to throw the hammer. And she qualified for conference her senior year, my senior year as well. So
that's cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Prior to coming back to school, I had coached for an indoor and outdoor season at St. Martin's University.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so that's how I kind of knew I wanted to coach.
Yeah.
But I just knew that I was missing a big part of my education. Like I understood the front end side of it. Of the technical side of throwing or of lifting and getting stronger. I wanted the science. I wanted the sports psych.
So what did
wanted psychology.
And last time we talked, Evergreen State has a very unique way of majors. Like you pick up here. You create your own major.
You create your own academic path. They call it. We don't have majors here.
Okay.
So you never raise your hand and say, "I'm going to be a biology major."
Okay.
You want to have an area of emphasis and focus your studies on biology. Then you take programs that are focused in biology.
So what did you focus on?
I focused on mostly the sciences, specifically biology.
Biology, maybe an anatomy class or something.
I took some anatomy and physiology. The way Evergreen's academics are structured is unique too.
Right.
So instead of taking multiple classes each quarter, you take one.
That's right, yeah.
So you take one academic program.
Right.
And that academic program has a theme.
Right.
That program is 16 credits.
Right.
And those 16 credits get broken up into a variety of subjects that relate to that theme.
So give me an example of what a theme in your senior year semester.
So I took a program called Health and Human Development.
Okay.
So it was definitely geared toward people going into the health industry.
That was your whole semester?
It was a 2-quarter program.
Okay.
So it was fall winter.
Okay.
And so it looked at not only the biological side of health but the psychological side of health.
So did you go to Professor Smith's biology class, or did you have one professor that you worked with?
It's team taught. So there's 2 faculty members.
Okay.
One biologist, one psychologist.
Okay.
And when one's lecturing, the other one's still in the room. so they can riff off of each other from lecture to lecture.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So they can reference a lecture that they're there too.
Right.
Sometimes they're the mole in the room. They're reading the room and like, that guy glazed over, and they'll raise their hand and be like, hey, could you go back? I didn't quite catch that part.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, it's really
two different styles,
very different.
Two different thought processes from the professor. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So do you get a degree in something, or do you get
a bachelor's of arts or a bachelor's of science? It's essentially a liberal arts degree.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. You can have an area of emphasis in something,
right?
But that doesn't go on your actual diploma.
Oh, okay. So you get the BA or BS in a liberal arts college, and your emphasis is whatever you emphasize. And which yours was, what did you?
Was coaching.
So coaching, that was your emphasis.
That was my emphasis. So everything I did in that program, health and human development, was geared toward coaching. How am I going to use this now knowledge of developmental psychology to be a better coach?
This may be a dumb question. Do you buy textbooks?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's textbooks.
You still take tests, you still write papers, all that.
Right.
The only difference is at the end of the quarter, instead of getting a letter grade that says, Zeb got an A in this class, I get a narrative evaluation. So it's a 2 to 3 page document that says...
The team professor is right.
Yeah. They write that, and it says not only what I did, but how I did it, how I interacted with the course material, how I was as a student, how I was as a classmate. You have group projects.
Right.
How did Zeb work in this group?
Didn't participate or did participate, led or just was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you think about in your day-to-day life, it's all group projects.
Yeah.
If you can be.
That's a really good point.
You can be awesome at this one thing. You know all the answers, take all the tests, write the great paper. But if you can't work in a group, you're dead weight.
That's a really good point for all coaches. If you're the greatest long jump coach in the world, you're still part of a staff.
Yeah.
You still got to recruit, which means you have to recruit to the best part of the team. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of your staff, you got an athletic department that has to work together. That's super interesting there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
that's a great lesson.
Spring of my senior year, I did an independent contract, which is another thing that the Evergreen is really popular for.
Okay.
Where if you have this idea, this thing you want to pursue, but it's not in the catalog.
Okay.
You can do it through either an internship or an independent study contract.
Okay.
Where you're going to get a faculty sponsor. You're going to lay out what you're going to learn. How you're going to learn it, how they're going to evaluate you.
You got to write up a proposal.
Yeah, you have to write this thing up.
Another great
get it
skill.
approved by academic deans. If you're going to do any kind of research with humans, you have to go through the Human Subjects Review Board. You have to go through that whole process. That's all now in your transcript. And so
what was yours?
I did an independent project to develop a strength and conditioning program for a small liberal arts college.
Yeah.
Because at the time, when I was a student athlete here, we had nothing.
Yeah.
We had nothing for strength and conditioning.
So maybe this is a good point to pivot a little bit. So, because this was obviously, we're talking about your undergraduate time here, but you obviously went on and became a coach here, and we're here now still at Evergreen State.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the school, how many students.
Currently right around 2,700 students.
2,700. You got all the kind of the major sport. You don't have football, but you have basketball, soccer. Was there field hockey?
No, there's women's volleyball.
Volleyball.
And then track and field.
Obviously the track and field, right. So you got a pretty good complement of sports and everything here for 2,700 students. And so do you have to, as the coach here now, first of all, do you teach?
I don't teach. Every now and again I'll get called in to be kind of a guest speaker. Okay. Which is always fun.
That's cool.
I really enjoyed my time as a student, so get to be the person at the front of the room talking is a kick.
I know I told you this last time because I do have just a soft spot in my heart for alumni who teach at their alma mater. Like it just... Whenever I hear of a coach who gets hired back at their alma mater, I don't know, it just always is something special because it's one thing when you're recruiting for the school that you're working at and you're calling these recruits, you're telling them how great the school is. Well, if you went to that school, you can say, you know how great, you know why, you know how I know this school's so great? I went to school here. Like that's authentic.
Yeah, I mean, I love track and field, and I love athletics.
Yeah,
I would coach athletes anywhere.
Right.
I also help out in our admissions department. I would only work in admissions at Evergreen.
Yeah.
And that's why I used to recruit in Southern California, and a high school counselor asked me, was like, "Are you going to stick around with this admissions thing?" I said, "As long as I'm at Evergreen, yeah."
Right.
But this isn't a career choice.
Right.
I'm not going to jump to another another college and work in their admissions department.
Right.
I'll still recruit for their sport, but I'm not gonna just travel for them and work in admissions in that way.
So your senior year, your last semester is on a strength and conditioning program for a small liberal arts college.
Yeah.
Was it that broad, like a small liberal arts, or was it for Evergreen State?
It was for Evergreen State. It was at the recommendation of my faculty that we call it just a small liberal arts college.
Yeah. Okay.
So it could be this model that that could be adopted anywhere.
Right. It could be
and
replicated in other places.
So
you had none. No. There was no formal strength and conditioning program here. Every coach did their own thing.
Every coach, if they did anything, they did their own thing. A lot of them didn't do anything.
Great. Yeah. That's a great point.
Even up until last year, they still didn't really do anything. It was kind of hey, if you want to go in there and lift, it's over there.
Right. But no formal
Yeah.
training, safety.
Yeah.
Obviously, performance.
Right? It was a lot of bicep curls and shoulder shrugs.
Sure.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And so I started working with our volleyball team primarily, our men's basketball team, soccer team here and there. And so that's why I started coaching at Evergreen almost as a volunteer.
Yeah.
Because after I graduated, I didn't have any reason to be here other than that.
Yeah, they didn't have a paid assistant or anything. It wasn't like
No, and so I was still, when volleyball came back in early July, I was here doing their workouts.
Right.
And it was just kind of this, hey, are you still willing to do that? I'm like, absolutely, let's go. Then admissions hired me on, and so that now I had a reason to still be here.
Right.
And then in March of 2018, get my years right. Yeah, March of 2018, the head coach of the track and field left, and they said, hey, would you be willing to take over this position?
What did I tell you about that fortuitous? Yeah. That's interesting.
And, I have had a lot of people just throw me nuggets of wisdom here and there. And the fellow who was the director of strength and conditioning for Olympic sports at UW, he told me, he's like, if there's a lot of turnover in a position, there's a reason.
Yeah, be forewarned, right. Sure.
And so look under the hood a little bit more.
Sure.
And
that's good advice.
I would have been the fourth coach in 3 years.
Wow.
And so that's turnover, right? And so I kind of looked at the position, and at the time it was a 6-month temporary position. Mm-hmm. It's an hourly position.
Right.
Almost impossible to build a team
when
you're showing up in January.
Right.
And your first meet's in March. Almost impossible to develop a team, develop athletes that way.
Right.
And so I said, I'll do it, but we need to start making steps toward something that's more consistent with the rest of the sports.
Okay.
Which is a little over half-time position.
So you pushed back and challenged the administration, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Is there an athletic director, or is it?
At the time, there was an associate athletic director and then a director of our department, which is student wellness, recreation, and athletics.
Yeah, not just athletics, right? Wellness, yeah.
Wellness and recreation is in there too.
Right. So you pushed back and said, "Hey, love to, but we gotta take another step here for the program."
Exactly. Yeah. And the folks at admissions, to their credit too, were very supportive, and that's really hard to say. Like, hey, we're going to have a 0.45 or a 0.5 admissions counselor, because that's a year-round, 24/7 deal.
Yeah.
And they said, no, do it. It'll be great.
Awesome.
And so we worked toward that. This was the first year that it really went into place where I'm now.
This year.
Yeah, this year, this academic year, it picked up in September, where I'm 0.5. I spent half my time on mornings in admissions. Okay. And then I come over here at noon, and I'm over here for the rest of my day.
That's awesome, man.
And
I'm happy for you. I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah. It's been a big step. Yeah. And as you know, like being a coach, coaching isn't an 8-hour-a-day job.
Yeah.
And so, we have a morning group that goes from 6:30 to 8.
Right.
And then I go over to admissions. I put on my admissions, uniform or some slacks and a polo, and
so
go over there.
Put a collar on.
I go over there and do that for a bit, and I come back and I put on shorts and a t-shirt for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I'm still committed to the athletic development side. So, once strength and conditioning once track skill practice is over, we end up in the weight room. We end every day in the weight room. Somebody does.
Right.
And then other teams roll in. So
Right.
men's basketball rolls in for a lift before their practice.
Right.
Men's, women's soccer have really started to develop a culture where they're coming in and they're lifting regularly, lifting 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Which has been really, really a hard culture to create.
So this is really only your second full year of coaching.
Yeah.
So how are you liking it? Yeah, you're a rookie coach, man.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's the I don't want to call it a job.
Yeah.
And I don't get paid to coach. I don't feel like I do.
Right.
I had to go to a meeting today for an hour and a half. I definitely got paid for that.
I'm sure that's your favorite part of coaching. It's going to meetings.
Oh God. Oh.
That's why everybody gets into coaching, is to do paperwork and meetings.
Yeah, I always feel bad for whoever's in a session after a meeting because they're just grumpy and nothing's good enough.
Let's go right after the meeting. No, coach, it's good, man. I'll see you later.
Yeah, nothing's right ever.
Yeah, right.
They always know when the meeting didn't go well. So
usually it's the coach getting the athlete schedule. Your athletes are getting your schedule. When do you have meetings? I want to know when that's happening so I can schedule.
Yeah, twice a month it turns into talk therapy for coach. It's really bad.
Oh, man. So you're obviously loving and enjoying college, and this is home, which is even better. And again, your alma mater. How's it going with the team itself as far as is the team growing? Are you challenged there? How's that going?
I mean, the team is growing. So when I took over the team, I want to say we had 6 people on the team.
Wow.
And we were limited to 8. 8 was our maximum. That's what we could have.
The school.
That rule was put on the track team, and that was even that way when I was on the team.
Okay.
Said, most you can have is 8. Why 8? Because that's how many can fit in a van.
Yeah.
You know, they had algorithms for how many people could be on a basketball team based on how many people could play at one time.
You have 10. I need 2 vans. That cost a heck of a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or it's like, well, how many people do we need to practice? Well, we need at least 15 people to practice.
Right.
For subs and stuff. And,
right.
Well, track and field.
Yeah. You have one.
You can have one.
You
can
have example.
you have one. And you have 10.
Yeah.
And so they said, you can have a van full.
Okay. So you don't have that cap now?
No. So that was one of the things I pushed
off.
against
Sweet.
as well when they asked me to take over. I said, if we're going to do it, I want to do it. I don't want to check a box and say, like, we have track and field.
Right.
And we just limp along. Like, I want to be able to have a team.
Yeah.
I want to have a budget. I want it to be part of this program.
Right.
And so last year I had 20 folks. And then this year, at one point, I thought I was going to be up around 30. It looks like I'm going to be more 25, 26.
Yeah.
But that's also athletes from other sports.
Sure.
When we came in downstairs, we ran into a couple basketball players.
Yeah.
The big guy, Dez, he's our discus thrower. He
Yeah.
got second at conferences
I was
last
wondering,
year.
he looked like a discus thrower.
Oh, yeah.
He's tall.
Yeah.
Wide.
He's a monster. He's
Yeah.
a monster. He moves great. He came in last week and took some throws in the racquetball court and almost put a hole in the wall. And I was like,
I believe it.
And it was, what was great about it is he was doing stuff I was trying to get him to do all last year, and he just couldn't quite connect the dots.
Yeah.
And he took 2 throws, and I was like, aside from the hole, like he hit the wall like 1.5 feet from the ceiling, and it bounced up and hit the ceiling, and the lights went really dim. And I was like, I think we're done.
Let's stop there.
Don't tell our facility. Hopefully, our facilities guy doesn't hear this. And I was like, but aside from that, I was worried because he's been spending so much time on the basketball court.
Sure.
He's definitely leaned out a lot.
Yeah.
But the power's there, everything's there, and I was like, hey, we're good.
So you've gone from 6'8" to 20 to 25. That's phenomenal. Now with an assistant coach, I would assume maybe there's going to be some more distance kids.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I think we've got some great distance runners that have applied and been admitted.
Right. And what a beautiful area for a distance kid. I don't know.
Oh,
There has to be paths and stuff around.
There's
all trees.
There's tons of trails.
Evergreen lives up to its name. There's a ton of trees.
It's a 1,000-acre campus.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
1,000 acres, only 250 of it's developed. So it's old growth forest.
Yeah.
And we're right on the
gorgeous.
Puget Sound.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wet. It rains here.
Yeah.
That's why everything's green.
Yeah. That's right. So,
but yeah, there's no better place to be a runner.
So what is? No one knows what a gooey duck is. There's 5% of the people are going to know a gooey. Tell us what is a gooey duck and why a gooey duck here? Why is it not a treat?
So a gooey duck is a very large clam.
Okay.
So large, in fact, that its siphon can't be inside the shell.
Oh, that's right. It actually sticks outside the shell.
It sticks out of the shell,
think about that.
and they get very large. Apparently, they're delicious.
Yeah,
if you watch Food Network, and they always have gooey ducks in there on usually like the challenge shows where it's like the mystery basket.
Yeah,
where you gotta do
the special ingredients.
Yeah. But it's when they founded the college, and they said we're going to have a mascot. They wanted something that was from the area. You're only going to find gooey ducks in the Pacific Northwest.
Is that right? Okay.
In one of the native languages, the gooey duck means to dig deep. When I was a student athlete, I didn't know that.
What language?
I forget.
Like a Native American
one of the
language?
native languages, yeah.
Dig deep, which is, if I remember right from watching the Food Channel, you have to dig.
Yeah.
That's severely deep, but they're down. You have to get down.
Yeah, and apparently when they're in the ground, despite their size, they're very fast. And
really? So they don't look fat. They look like sloths.
They kind of lumber around. But apparently when they're in the ground, they can get down pretty quick.
And so they're here. We're on the Puget Sound, you said.
Yeah.
Are they here in the Puget Sound?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen one in real life?
I've never seen one in its natural environment in real life.
Okay, all right.
But we have a small aquarium on campus, and they have some in there.
Yeah. That's
and
cool.
so the mascot, the official name is Speedy, is the name of the mascot.
That's funny because you think it's not fast, and you just told me it is. Yeah.
I can say that our current iteration of the costume is by far the best iteration of the costume.
Yeah, you probably got to be a little careful with.
You have to watch out.
You got to go Google this right now. If you don't know what a gooey duck is, like pause, go Google image, and then come back and then realize what we're talking about. When you talk about a dressed up mascot, you have to be very careful.
Yeah, you can use your imagination. Another name for the gooey duck is a horse clam.
Yeah.
And so you can use your imagination and just go from there. Sky's the limit.
That's awesome.
But all the previous costumes had been student made, and so the iteration of this costume prior to this one, which is, purchased and fabricated by somebody else, was the pickle taco. It was this like neon green. I'll find a picture of it and send it to you. It's awesome. And if you Google Evergreen State College mascot, you'll see all the iterations up there. It's pretty funny.
How long has the college been around? Has this been around for a long time? Or?
Founded in 1967, opened our doors in 71.
So still fairly young. That's not
super young school. Yeah. Other things interesting about the college: state school. So we're a public liberal arts college.
Not private.
No. So we're
private.
I want to say there's something like 30 public liberal arts colleges in the country, if that.
Interesting.
We're one of the few public schools to be part of the book Colleges That Changed Lives, which is a really small. Well, it's a great book about small colleges that essentially are doing big things that aren't doing the giant, big, typical university experience, and that's not to knock that experience.
Sure, yeah.
They definitely
it's unique. Yeah.
I think the author of the book takes some cracks, but that's their liberty. It's their book.
Yeah.
Not my position as a coach or someone who works in admissions to dog a big 4-year experience.
Right.
But they definitely make a case for a smaller school, a more intimate school, and I had the opportunity to go to one of their events this last summer. It was kind of my victory lap through Southern California as an admissions counselor.
Right.
And I can say I was in a room full of probably, 50 of the most innovative colleges in the country, and no one does it like Evergreen.
Wow, is that right?
Yeah.
That's
and you go, they have these little lunches, and you go out to dinner with a couple people, and they're like, wait a minute, you do what? It's like, yeah, we do.
Huh.
That sounds awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what do you do? You're it's when we're recording this, I'm not sure when it'll actually be published, but we're recording this in January, right? I get mixed up on time. So we're getting ready to go into indoor season, and obviously outdoor season.
So we still don't have an indoor season.
Oh, okay.
We for better or for worse, we don't have an indoor season.
Sure. So you're still training for March meets to go outdoors. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, we met up. We were out at the Hammer Cage, and we were throwing in the rain.
Yeah.
Because if you live in Washington State, you
better.
need to learn how to throw in the rain.
That's right.
We got a bit of snow last week. We threw in the snow.
Yeah.
Our first meet we went to last year was in second week of March, and at 9 o'clock in the morning, they were scraping ice out of the discus ring.
Oh, man.
So that's just something to live in our area.
Right.
You have to be able to do that.
Do you typically, outside of nationals, do you stay here in Washington? Is there enough meets? St. Martin's, I assume, holds meets.
So it's all up and down the I-5 corridor.
Yeah.
St. Martin's, Pacific Lutheran University, University of Puget Sound puts on a couple meets.
Right.
We make sure we go to Seattle Pacific hosts a meet at West Seattle Stadium, so that's always fun to go back to that one.
Yeah, right.
Old stomping grounds.
Yeah, it's like your home ring. That's the real origin story right there.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's fun to get to go to that meet and share that area with my athletes. It's a lot of fun.
Sure, that is pretty cool.
And we have a ton of throwers, and that's not because I'm trying to turn everybody into a hammer thrower. But I do feel that as far as accessibility goes within the sport of track and field, hammer throw really takes all shapes and sizes.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of need to be a monster to throw the shot or the discus, especially if you're a male thrower.
Right.
Hammer, you can be 5'2",
a
5'2" female, and have success in that event.
Right.
You can be a 5'9" male and have success in that event.
I was amazed when I first got into coaching, not coming from the thrower side. So in my head, every hammer thrower was the big guy like you or the big girl, And then I remember, my first couple of national meets or, Texas relays, bigger meets like that, where teams around the country would come in. And I just distinctly remember USC had a few international athletes that looked like they could have been high jumpers or sprinters or hurdlers or heptathletes. They weren't the stereotypical big, and they were awesome. Yeah. It just blew me away. It's like, wait a minute. And then, one of those gals would get out, look like she could go to the high jump, and then the next big girl would come in. It's like, and they were both really awesome. It was like, wow, man, the body types are radically variable in this event. Where if you go to sprinting and hurdling and like I said, some of the shot put events, they're more the degree off of average isn't very much.
Yeah. So we have a lot of athletes that do other sports. I would say more than 50% of that 25 are multi-sport athletes.
Is that right? Do they come from multi-sport backgrounds like they did in high school, and so therefore it feels right for them to do it, or do they come here and learn like, I just want to do track, I should try to do track here?
Yeah, it's generally the latter.
Yeah.
Every now and again you get lucky and you have a 6'1" volleyball player that also threw the discus in high school. But probably not to great effect because they were playing club volleyball and that took up all their time.
What a terrible thing we have going on right now with single sport specialization in high school and middle school
and so they come here and I don't know why I end up with people in my office who I've never met before. They say, I want to do something, and maybe they're an athlete, maybe they aren't.
Right.
I had a guy come in my office last year at 6 o'clock at night, big 6'2" guy, and he said, I want to be on the track team. I said, well, what have you done before? He's like, well, I was a pitcher in high school.
Okay.
I was like, cool, let's try javelin.
Yeah.
And, it took us a season for him to not throw a fastball.
Yeah, javelin is another special event.
But he's catching on, and I'm so excited to see what he does this year.
He's 6'2".
Yeah, he's 6'2",
It's the one
easily.
He can't coach.
Yeah, he's a big, strong guy. Easily one of the toughest, grittiest guys I've ever met.
Is that right?
No joke. Two rows of calluses on his hands.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
He turned up for practice and, hey man, you're looking a little tired. He's like, yeah, I cut 2 cords of wood before I came out here.
Wow.
I was like, maybe wait till after practice.
Yeah, let's stage these differently.
But he's just a gritty, solid earth dude, and like.
Javelin's tough. I mean, one of my teammates at Gill, Tim Glover, is an 80-meter plus javelin thrower, still throwing. He got third at USA's. And,
oh wow.
He's qualified for his trials next year, and the work he does to be a good javelin thrower while a full-time job. I mean, it's something. Anytime at that level, and it doesn't mean at that level like, okay, to be good enough to possibly make the Olympic team like he is and things like that. when you're trying to become the best at Evergreen and in your conference, that level is there too, that you have to, it don't happen just by accident. You've got to put in time and commitment while doing all those other hats.
And I think you need to be strategic about it too. There's a big culture of grinding.
Right.
You know, we've got to grind. We've always got to be grinding, you know, especially in sports like basketball.
You mean grind like wear yourself down?
Like, yeah, it feels like that's the mantra, right? We got to wear ourselves down. We got to give it every little bit.
Right.
It's
I got to get 110% out of myself.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like maybe
every session.
Let's be strategic about where we spend our time and where we spend our money, our effort. It's because, again, they're wearing multiple hats too.
Absolutely.
They're student athletes. They're students first.
Yep.
That's a big thing here.
Their sons, their daughters, brothers and sisters. Yep.
They might be in a relationship.
Yep.
They might want to have a social life.
Okay. That's right.
There's all these things that need to happen. There's only 24 hours in the day.
That's right.
And so stress is stress. There's only so much they can recover from.
Yeah.
And so, what can you do? You know, when that athlete comes to my office and says, "I want to do track,"
Right.
and I say, you know, A, what's your background? And then B, what can you do? Like, how much time can you realistically give to this?
Right.
And that helps us frame our expectations. And it also helps me as a coach think about where can we spend our effort the most.
Right.
You know, I have a soccer player she's probably 5 feet tall, but she is meaner than hell.
That's it. That's where your humble host made the mistake and cut it off. Man, we were really getting into it. Again, looking forward to talking with Zeb again in the near future and exploring more about his life and what makes him tick and what makes him coach. So, hey, if you made it this far, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed connecting with this interview as much as I did. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, please contact me at hurdle@gilathletics.com. That's right, hurdle@gilathletics.com. In the meantime, we hope you feel led to share this podcast on your social media network of choice and join us again to connect with another fine track coach across the country.